minasan, welcome back to our playthrough of Our Life, Beginning and Always. We are going to continue where we left off last time, continuing our moments through step 1. So we're going to load, should be this middle one. Yeah, it's the middle one. So we're going to hopefully get through 2 of these and do 2 next time and then end off with 1 followed by whatever, but we'll see how long it actually takes us. Let's go. Let's do barbecue. I want to try that one. You'd been brought along to the big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The park near your house with its lonely playground equipment wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. And it was in the next town over and too far for you to walk by yourself. You didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shiloh, and Cove. Today it was the busiest day you'd ever seen, thanks to a community get-together luring people from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Your family and Cove's were just 2 of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as he took in the growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. You couldn't. Oh, there's gonna be fireworks. It was gonna be so cool. I would totally choose fireworks. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted them to get something in return, which is why you had not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried in her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, she clutched the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Holden's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice boxes, was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there had been no such dramatics around the cargo getting here in one piece, but the boxes did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
Everyone all set? Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated, his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile.
Good kid.
I don't want you getting burned or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Well,
don't think there's gonna be any risk of that second part. Mom nodded to the tables ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right, there was plenty to go around. The parents headed over with you, Lizzie, and Cove trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued with what was on the tables. Some of it was familiar, chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot that you didn't recognize. Your moms had said you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. You didn't want to risk getting... I would be worried about getting caught, but I also don't see the harm in taking some. If you could nab something and pop it in your mouth without anyone noticing, no one could be upset. You chose to grab... Let's go with the sausage. You put the whole thing in your mouth and chewed as serendipitously as you could. Cove definitely caught what you were up to. Luckily, he seemed to think it was funny and only smirked quietly. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Holden had deposited the food and drink they'd brought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great! Along with the ones out, there was a giant cooler on the ground, stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was... I want a soda, god darn it! The bubbles in the soda tickled your nose as you gulped it down. Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. That is the spot, but you kids should have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They sounded They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings, nodding her head towards the group of kids. Like a general directing their battalion, she pointed the way.
Come on!
Let's go over there! Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. I'm not leaving Cove with Lizzie. What world would you leave Cove with Lizzie? You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers. Hi, I'm Lizzie. That's my sister Blue, and the one in the cast is Cove. Hi. Cove simply lifted his hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arm folded over his chest. What are you up to? The first kid, the boy with curly hair and neon green sneakers, who'd introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much! The second kid piped up. Lisa had half her face obscured behind huge glasses she wore. We haven't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw a spray of water first. You heard a shriek as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guessed that was why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over with a glint in her eye and her braids streaming behind her. You spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. Ah! Brood? Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped the water from his face. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled there. That would literally be like my first response. Cove has a cast, you douche nozzles. Worried, you looked at Cove's plastered arm. You knew he had to be careful with it around water. It's okay. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. Well, screw you too. She doesn't mean anything by it. I'm sorry. If she didn't mean anything by it, she'd apologize. Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact she'd been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Blech. Word problems today. I will always have word problems with this game while I'm speaking it. There's just so much, it's so dialogue heavy. But I enjoy it, but I'm also like reading it out for you guys, so it's a lot of talking that I'm not used to doing in a game. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah! Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. Let's do it! You joined the group of kids in tearing off after the girl with the pistol. Spotting you all over her shoulder, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within your group as someone stood on your foot and you collided with Cove's shoulder. Sorry! Cove shot you a smile and gave you a feeling of camaraderie. It's okay. You were closing in on the girl, but you weren't alone. Lizzie's face was set with intent, and the two older kids were hot on her heels too. Oh. You outran them easily. You rushed right to the head of the pack. You were close, and then you tackled her to the ground. You did it! The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop at your side. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah! I'll do it! You won't get away from me! With that, you all dispersed, squealing and laughing as you tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced with a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as it, the scent of smoke wafted up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you had lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills, poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. We should get over there! I'm so hungry! Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye! It was cool playing. Yep, bye! Bye! You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Woof! That's quite a cough. Are you alright, sweetie? I'm fine. I nodded confidently. Are you sure? No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There's no response from the other two kids here. I can get it myself, Mommy. Alright, but tell me if it gets too much for you.
So,
The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you'd like on it. There's different meat and vegetables. As you approached, you found a vast array of bits and pieces, ready to be skewered and served up. You chose. Ooh, I get to choose. Ooh. Oh, we get to choose. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna have beef and chicken, and obviously there's gonna be potatoes. What else? I feel like we need onions just for like the flavored. So onions. Should we do peppers? Peppers. And that's everything. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. I keep changing the mother's voices and I'm so sorry. Order given, you waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Hi again! I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. It just said peppers, it didn't say what colors. Noticing that Cove had approached, she turned to him. What are you having?
why?
Why does it matter? I don't know, I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables except onions. Lizzie hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. I want some of the chicken too. Oh yeah, I can let you have some still. You're welcome. Lizzie peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being held out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands. They're coming over! Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove! I'm not saying he made the wrong choice, because he didn't. He chose beef, but he also chose shrimp, so it's like the worst of both worlds. The best of both worlds. I don't know what to say. I didn't make the wrong choice. We all make good choices. There isn't a wrong choice. We all make good choices. It's just what kebab somebody eats. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, and then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, one for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden. We've got the goods! Cove's daddy is looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mommy chucked her tongue. Clicked. Clucked. Clucked. I'm guessing that's what they mean? It would have been nice if the options were easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set down the food down for a second. That's what you get for the price of free, but we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent out to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the seating area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cove took a seat next to you. Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final unclaimed kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Thanks, this looks delicious. Thank you for getting us a space out here. Everyone tucked into their food. You gobbled it up eagerly, only partially obstructed by the awkwardness of eating from a skewer. Running around with the other kids had helped you work up an appetite. Mr. Holden, what do you do? Well, I do a lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well, she'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need to have a good drive or two to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit. I don't get it. A drive is a type of golf shot. You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day. Well, that's rude. That's god darn rude, Lizzie. God. I like scuba diving. Though with the business, it's more work than play these days. Surfing, reading, snorkeling. Those are things Cove likes. Mr. Holden exaggerately puffed out his chest. What can I say? My boy's got good taste. He takes after his dad in that way. The sun had been setting when you got your food, and by the time you'd finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. As well as a skewer. I didn't eat a like the actual skewer, did I? I didn't eat the wood that it's on, did I? The kebab had been a great combination. More than the sum of its parts, the seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient yourself. What made it something to remember? Word vomit. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that food is gone, you've got to wash your hands.
Okay.
Blue, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers, and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. Your turn, Blue. You readily held out your hands to catch the water. Copying Lizzie, you washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched-up napkin. Dad, it's not that bad. When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's go make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time! We have to get a good spot! Everywhere is gonna be taken! How about I go ahead to save a spot again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing, I could use an extra pair of eyes. You're just giving her the excuse to not be with me. Darn it. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
All right, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Blue, do you want to go get the drinks? Okay. You nodded. As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning the cooler where you'd picked it up earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that had remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you caught a glimpse of something more colorful amongst them. Mom rummaged around the cooler, evacuating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process. Aha! Blue, Cove, you can take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. Yes. Cove hesitated but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over in the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy, hold on tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hun, how's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated by the as Mommy gave her directions. Catching her eye, she gestured towards the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on, we better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups of people assembled there back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
Hello, we're here, and we come bearing drinks, though there weren't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You gave Lizzie a bottle of water, but she only had eyes for your juice box. Blue and Cove have juice. They helped get the drinks. You got to pick where we sat. Don't be selfish. I'm not. Good, then you're gonna thank us for bringing your very own water bottle? Thanks. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted in the back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their numbers were steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out. I can't make out what it is. I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they gonna come to us too? Mom softly put her hands on the top of your sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case,
We'll have to wait and see. You were intrigued! Studying the man with the box closely, he gradually meandered nearer, and you could make out that he was handing out small items to most of the groups he stopped at. It seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that, it remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert? Lizzie squealed, hopping off to the ground. The man chuckled. I would also be like this. I love dessert, especially if it's a free dessert. Like, who turns down a free dessert? And it's ice cream! I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu, vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup.
Nice.
Nice, none for me though, thanks. Same, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate! Can I have a strawberry? And a strawberry for me too, please. Now you were gonna have to make a decision, chocolate or strawberry. I'm gonna get chocolate. Who wants? Reaching into the box, the man brought out the requested ice cream and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to a paper lid. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kids, are you gonna thank the nice man, too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group, considering how many he had to get to. You peeled back the tab of the covered ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. This is a long one. Maybe I chose wrong. This is really long. You couldn't help thinking how Cove had strawberry while you had chocolate. Can I try yours? Cove, be a nice boy and let me try some of your ice cream. He looked around awkwardly. What? I want to try the strawberry one. He smashed his lips together tightly, but nodded and scooped out a chunk of ice cream before holding it out to you. You took it gladly. And it was gone in a bite. You could try mine too. Okay. You caught a bit of ice cream, making sure to hit the chocolate swirl that distinguished it from Cove's, and held it out for him. He nibbled at it.
Oh.
What are you awing at me for, Mommy? Mommy was gazing at the two of you. Her mouth was in an open smile, as if she was about to say something else, but Mom tugged on her collar. Don't embarrass them. Hey, if you're sharing, I'll take some. I mean, so what? You're not taking any of mine. You got chocolate. Lizzie stuck her tongue out at both of you and turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at Mommy and pulled on her pants. Please? I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Okay, Mommy. Lizzie cooed with excitement as Mommy presented her with a dollop of ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheek, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I can't resist. Blue, would you like some of mine? I'm good. I'm good. That's not the same as getting a little extra. No, I passed on the bite. I was only willing to share with Cove. Mommy, I'm okay. See, Blue knows how it is. It doesn't hurt to ask. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you'd better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
What? The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot. I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm? She's teasing you. Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough. There. All better now? Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No. I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair if you get the choice, too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one is feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. Then the first fireworks cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alit. Squealing, Lizzie leaped to her feet. Blah, 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 blah. Her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as the firework crackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. It was impossible to tear your eyes from the scene. Cove sat by his dad, captivated by the sky sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you, and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom with her, pushing her into joining Lizzie and jumping in tandem with every crack of a firework. Mommy then bent down to offer you a hand up too. Got to join your family, got Cove to join. Cove got to his feet, nervously tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's faces lit up, literally and metaphorically, as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leapt along with the sparkles in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sights together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coils of a spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky. The twinkling lights represented the full spectrum of the rainbow. The exhilaration that had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finished. You collapsed into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your excursion. Cove tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Holden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he'd worn while watching the show. Lizzie gave one final whoop of delight and shared a high five with Mom and Mommy as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked it the way it made Mom laugh. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed by the fireworks display, then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. And that took us to 30 minutes, so unfortunately we're actually going to end this episode here. Hopefully next time we'll be able to get 2 done, and there'll be 2 more episodes, and then we'll do like the final summer end part in its own episode. I thought we could get 2 done because we got 2 done last time, but God, some of these are long. Obviously, it's going to be like the DLC ones that are all long. I can't wait. This is going to be fun. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me as we play our life. Thank you for being a part of my experience with Cove as my character Blue gets to enjoy him. And thanks for watching the videos. Like, I enjoy how much engagement you guys are giving it, and I appreciate it. And I hope you guys keep it up, because again, I want you guys to choose what we do for step 2, because I will play what you guys want to see. I'm obviously doing everything for step 1, but that's obviously taking a while. So step 2, I will choose based on what you guys want. So I will catch you all on the flip side. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.